Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello, what is up? I'm Jared Welch, he's Aaron Halterman. It is Thursday, December 11th, and welcome to Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
What is up? Yeah, it's kind of a calm weekend, I would say, but we still have one Derby prep race, and then next week we've got two, including the elusive Springboard Mile. So calm before the storm in horse racing this week.
Well, and then we saw it last week. I'll talk a little bit about that, the rims in here in a second. This week, obviously, the Los Alpha Charity, and you mentioned the Springboard, and it kind of just feels like all these are like those, like, all right, let's see what horses we at least need to consider in the Derby picture. Like, it's like, because we talked all about it, for weeks and months, where it's like, okay, it feels like it's Ted Nafi, and then I can't even come up with a name, let alone who I think could be, could beat him. So these races, as shitty as they might seem or whatever, at least it's like, I feel like we're just weeding through. It's like, all right, that's a horse I at least have to know. Paladin, that's a horse I want to know. Renegade, that's a horse I maybe need to know. Litmus tests, those kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you start with that, I thought it was a productive Rimson. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, right? Like, we know that heading into it every year, it could be a weird race, but I thought Paladin ran really well. I thought Renegade ran well also. He also was coming in off of a kind of a light work pattern. He had missed a couple works. So, I thought he was pretty good. And they kind of remind me, and I said it last week, they kind of remind me of McGonigal and Zandon a little bit, how they're kind of finishing together, and they kind of just look better than who they're facing up to this point. So I thought it was for a Rimson it's always kind of questionable what comes out of it. I think this year's running was pretty good.
Yeah, the number came back decent, and I thought the actual visual performance of it looked okay enough to where, yeah, and I mean, listen, those are two. It's always nice when you have two sort of hyped up horses. I wouldn't say like completely hyped up, but they look good on paper. They seem to have the good connections, well bred, and then they kind of deliver and they don't really disappoint. So there's something to be said about that. It was a mile and eighth race, as we discussed, which is always odd. It's for 2-year-olds, so you have that check box as well. That you kind of like, all right, these are horses that I think will, as we go down the trail, will at least be okay to run in these kind of races. So what they do, if they're good enough, we'll see. But I'm with you. I thought, like, they're certainly draftable, right, as we get closer to the fantasy draft.
Yeah, but no, for sure. I think, I don't want to exaggerate, I think there'll be 4 to 5 horses drafted out of that race. I don't think you can say the same for the Kentucky Jockey Club. I think there only might be 2 or 3. So it is something, and again, I wasn't overly impressed with Paladin, but I thought it was solid, right? The problem, and maybe it's a good thing for the filly Zany, and it's not really a knock on Paladin, but the race was a half second slower than the Demoiselle at a mile and an eighth that had Zany. And so that's a problem, although that horse, that filly looked really, really good in the Demoiselle. So there's that as well. So a little bit of mixed signals, kind of the same with Further Ado 2 weeks ago. You left the race going, yeah, that was okay, but there was some mixed signs. And I think you could say that again with Paladin. I think the good news on the Paladin side of ththings, that was just his second race. And I thought he was pretty darn professional, and I think he's got room to improve. I think he's got a lot of upside.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny how we keep comparing him, or you have compared him to like the Zandon, and has that kind of feel, I guess. Wasn't overly impressive as a 2-year-old, but was like doing things the right, things the right way. And then as they continue to he's always in the mix. And a horse like this, who is lightly raced, in a second start, certainly got to think that they have, we're going to, well, one, obviously stakes from here on out. And two, it's going to be, okay, we have a real one here. Now we're going to go from the Derby and work backwards and what races that horse runs in. So I do think we'll see that horse at least 3 times between now and hopefully the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, and in typical Chad Brown fashion, he mentions the bluegrass is kind of That's the goal, right? And that makes sense. That's where Chad Brown's best horse, Bluegrass, and then Wood Memorial comes into play as well. But it sounds like Bluegrass for this one, and he'll work backwards from that, like you said. Whether that that he's went down to Fairgrounds recently, maybe he does that. We'll see. We'll see what he does. Could use the Withers as a prep as well, going a mile and an eighth. So yeah, I think he's got a plan, and he said, hey, this is a serious horse. So I think we got to take him seriously as well. As far as Renegade goes, it's going to be interesting because Pletcher has Renegade who ran second. He has Courting who ran fourth, and Courting is a mental case. He just kind of runs in spots. He looked like he was going to run last, and then he ran hard for a bit and got into fourth. It sounds like Courting's going to go Fairgrounds and go long as soon as possible. And then we'll see on Renegade. He's going to go down there, maybe, or down to Florida, I should say. I'm sure they'll keep him and Ted Naffy apart. Maybe Renegade's the Tampa Bay horse for Pletcher. We'll have to see. But I thought he was pretty good, honestly. And it feels like it feels like what 2000 or 2010s when Pletcher seems loaded at this point in the season. We hadn't seen that from him the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they've been building, I guess, because it does feel like he might be going back to when we have 10 of the 20 horses are trained by Pletcher, with one being the very clear contender.
Right.
One I was looking back at Zandon with he after he ran the rims and went to the Risen Star, then went to the Bluegrass, and then of course went to the Derby, and so that would seem a very likely scenario for Paladin. Although we've seen him go different spots, but that Risen Star and then into the Bluegrass, I'd say maybe we get an extra race out of there that we'll see, since he is so lightly raced heading in. But so was Zandon as well, so it will be we'll see what they do. But Zandon very, very similar in terms of maiden special weight, rims, and Risen Star. That was the first 3 races of his career.
Yeah, and I think we look back after the career ended with Zandon, and he's kind of a punchline. He never could really, win that big one, so to speak. But, going into the Kentucky Derby, he looked like a horse. I mean, just coming off that Bluegrass win, and he was building. And I don't know if you want to go watch Rich Strike win the Derby again, but when they turn for home, Zandon looks like the winner.
Oh,
and he just hangs. And that was that was kind of the start of the Zandon is a hanger situation, right? He just that up to that point, it's like, I think he's pretty good, and then it was like, he just can't finish. So anyway, hopefully Paladin doesn't do that as a roundabout way of me trying to say that.
Well, I will not be. I've written off I've gotten to the point where I'm just like pretending Rich Strike didn't happen. So we just don't even go back and look at that.
You know what's interesting? So is the horse racing community. Did you know? I bet you don't know this because you don't have Dennis Trusty doesn't text you like he texts me. Rich Strike sold in an auction Wednesday for $2,500.
The Kentucky Derby winner.
And I want you to guess the state. You'll never guess it, but I want you to guess the state where he's going to stand stud.
Okay, since you laid it out like that, it's got to be something completely random. We'll say no. That would be.
Can I give you one hint?
Yeah.
The state currently does not have horse racing.
Texas?
That's a great guess. They do have horse racing, even though we can't watch it. Kansas.
Hey, we can go see him.
So he's up by Kansas City. I don't know where he's going now, but here's the story on it. Kansas used to have horse racing. Well, I think the last race was like 2010 or something like that. And they used to have a pretty decent horse racing in the 90s. It all closed up. They're trying to bring it back. And there's a track called Eureka Downs, which is about 100 miles from Joplin. It's in between Joplin and Wichita, Joplin, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas. They're trying to revitalize that track to have live dates in 2026. They think they're going to do it. Now, it's going to be a slow process because they're going to have to build up horses in the state. There's not enough horses to run very many dates, but that is the plan as of right now. and Rich Strike is standing in Kansas as of right now.
So, let's
And I'm not
backtrack
making
a little
any of
here.
this up because it sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but this is true. I researched it all day yesterday.
You just threw a lot at me, and I'm gonna try to digest that for a second because basically what you're telling me is while racing in some regards seems like it's dying in certain spots, we are building out a track and having trying to revitalize a track and have actual running at that Kansas racetrack. And to further that, the lead the lead sire that's trying to set up the kind of the revitalize the horses in Kansas is none other than Rich Strike.
Basically, that's all true. According to what I've read, if I've misspoke, it's because I listen. There were articles on Blood Horse about it. Pollock Report, I think, had an article. So I'm just kind of paraphrasing these articles. Here's the fascinating thing. This is a track that hasn't. It is there, like it was there. It raced when Kansas had racing. I think it was like early 2010s was the last time they had a race there. It sounds like by how they write the article that like the locals really want it to happen. Eureka, Kansas is a tiny ass place. I've never been there, but on the map it's very small. But it's like they said the carpentry club of the high school has been trying to help build stuff to get it ready. There's been like hundreds of volunteers trying to get this up to snuff where they can have racing in 2026. I'm actually rooting for it hard because it sounds like, look, you said in an era where there's not a lot of places that actually want to race. These people in Kansas seem like they really want to race. And also it says in the article, while Kansas, this is the only track that they think they could get into operation, they want more tracks, but they're going to have to build them. And I think that's far-fetched is what I'm saying. But by 2028, they want to have like an operational racing system in Kansas.
Wow.
And all this happened because Dennis sent me a message is like Rich Strike is selling. And on the location, he was at a farm in Kansas. I thought, well, that's weird. And that's what led me to all this yesterday. So I went down a journey. Again, I don't know what's faction, what's not. I'm just quoting what the article said.
It says that live thoroughbred quarter horse and American paint horse racing could return to Kansas in 2026.
Yeah. So the goal is to have 20 quarter horse days and 20 thoroughbred days. They don't think that's going to happen in 2026. There's simply not enough horses. They think they could get it established. And by like 2028, that's kind of what they're looking at. Now, again, like what will this even be? I don't know. But the one thing that they have going for them, they have the backing of the local governments from what that read, and they've got slot machines and they've got slot machine money. So while I still consider it a long shot, 5 years down the road, could they be operational and actually somewhat on the map? I don't think it's totally out of the loop, but they're going to have better places than Eureka, Kansas to run. And that's not a knock. It's just like that's in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm rooting for them. I think it'd be amazing if they could get that going, but I don't know if they can or not.
Rich Strike, the Kansas sire. There you go.
There are 7 sires currently in Kansas, was what the article said, which is how is there any? But there are 7 supposedly. And I guess he makes 8. I don't know the details on it. So
what happened is they probably, in 2008 when they closed down, they probably just left the sires there, and then someone's been feeding them this whole time, and now we're back.
Yeah, they're waking them up in their stalls. Hey, you got a job again.
Yeah,
I don't know,
baby.
And I couldn't tell you where they're at. And if somebody's living in Kansas, like this guy doesn't know anything. I don't about that. Not a thing.
Mean, other than like when a long time ago when horses were not selling for insane amounts of money, $2,500 for a Derby winner is got to be. I mean, I spent more at Disney World than that, and like how is a horse that's won the Derby? Is that I guess it's just another point of how random and bad that race was.
Well, and the other thing is it was a digital auction. So you weren't even like live. It was like just on a Phasic Tipton. You're just online bidding. His starting bid was 2,500, and that was the only bid they got. Like he didn't get bid up at all. So it's crazy.
I wonder what he would have been, if they would have, because they skipped the Preakness with him, right?
Right.
And so I wonder what if they what the like max offer would have been to somebody, and I'm sure it happened. After he won the Derby, someone offered him, X amount for him or whatever. Just kind of like, just like the example of like, oh, I should have sold the stock or whatever. It's like how bad has that fallen from the day, the moment after the Derby to now where it's $2,500.
I know. It's
had to have been over $1 million. I mean,
it had to have been, and I don't know. That's a great question. And I mean, you can go on his Equibase page and go to auction history, and you show it right there. I'm not crazy. That happened. That did happen yesterday. I didn't dream that, but anyway, it's a great question, and I don't quite understand why he's only worth that anyway, because he is a grade 1 winner. He's out of a grade 1 winner. Or sorry, he's by a grade 1 winner, not out of, and he's out of a Smart Strike mare. I mean, to me, there should be some breeding value, like just Iowa or Oklahoma. Couldn't he stand? Even Arkansas, couldn't he stand and somebody go to him? I would think so, but I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that just seems just based off of basic information that he would go for more than that. So weird. Okay, well, that's something I didn't know we were going to be talking about that today. So,
well, I like I said, I wasn't going to bring it up because it's kind of a weird story, but again, it's just a funny joke of Dennis was like, "Hey, let's buy him." And we were both kind of like, well, he'll get bid up from that. We couldn't just put 2,500 and get him. No, you could have. But anyway, it's the Kansas racing thing is, it's wild. It's very wild.
You should have put some money on him. I mean, or you should have bet him a little bit or bought him. I mean, shit, you've spent more on horses with Kelly. You could at least said you own a Derby winner.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know what I would have done with. I could put him in the backyard, I guess. I don't know. Like it's just, I don't know. To me, it is weird. Like, how has he fallen to that? I don't know. It's odd to me.
I'm looking right now. Yeah. I mean, hit 405, $2,500 at the Kansas Thoroughbred Association.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, this is a horse that's ran 14 times, 2 first, second, and a third, or 3 thirds, I should say, with $2.5 million in earnings. Obviously, career high Kentucky Derby was the highlight, but he also, finished second Lucas Classic.
Yeah.
Ran 4th in the Travers, 4th in the Breeders' Cup Classic, even. So
it almost makes you wonder, like, has the racing industry blackballed this horse? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's key nice skill. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's strange. It's almost like feels like a typo, but you saw it, so and I saw it, so yeah. I don't know. So there you go. We'll see what happens with the. We could have bought him, Shoddy. We could have just bought him, and he could have been like a racing dude's like mascot. You know what I mean? Like we could just, like how Halterman, like when we go to Saratoga. Your favorite horse, sometimes the mini horse is running around there, and we could have, we could have been like, this is Rich Strike, the racing dude's pony or whatever, and it could have been like the Rich Strike. Oh yeah, this is him.
Yep,
the horse I bashed on as soon as he won, saying he was a disaster. Well, hey, look where we're at now. We owned him for $2,500.
Could you imagine that day when we left the Churchill Downs after he had won the Kentucky Derby? I would have said he's going to sell in 2025 for $2,500, which is a fourth. No, let's see. I forget what we paid for Husker Butch now. It's at least half of what we paid for Husker Butch. I mean,
shitty ass horses all the time sell for 10 grand, or claim
Yeah.
for 10 grand.
Well, that's what Dennis says. He said we should buy him for 2,500 and get him back into racing shape and run him in a $10,000 claimer. He might get claimed.
Yeah,
You
no
know?
shit.
So,
Huh.
yeah.
All right. Well, all right. That's I don't know. Like I don't know enough, about what's listed there, but like it's got to be something, right? Where it was like 2,500 was like for the invest or the sire interest only, or I have no idea, but that just seems insanely low.
It doesn't seem right. And I thought it was a joke. And I mean, it's like that really happened. I know it happened. So, and I know that's him. There's not another one. So
There is no other Rich Strike. I'm gonna have to do a little research on that because that just. So I mean, yeah, because I even looked on. I mean, I didn't see. I'm not on Twitter all that much, but I searched like Rich Strike, $2,500. I can't find anything, which is weird because normally Twitter would be like all over a situation like that.
I think it's because, and how the hell Dennis knew about this, I don't know. I wish he was here. He could tell us, but I think it's because who goes to the Phasic Tipton website and looks at a digital catalog of, and it was like a lot of, like there wasn't anybody you've heard of on that thing. You know what I mean? So it's like that. I didn't put it this way. I didn't know that sale existed. So maybe people just don't know.
I'm gonna do a little digging. I might even post it on our Twitter and say, hey, let's see if someone knows what really happened here, or if anybody doesn't know, and we'll get a little information. But yeah, follow us on the Twitter page, and we'll see if we can get a little steam from that. Because usually when something like that happens, as much as I hate racing Twitter, it would be insane. Like that's all people will be talking about is Rich Strike and being sold for $2,500.
And I'm just assuming he's going to stay in Kansas. Maybe he's not, but that seems like what that deal is to me.
Yeah.
Maybe he shows up somewhere else. I have no idea.
The fact that that's kind of all all that happened at the same time, or at least in a similar time frame where it's like they're trying to revitalize Kansas and then he sells there. I don't know. No. But more to come with that, I guess. Maybe we'll be talking about here in a few years. All these just 2-year-old racing running at Eureka. What's it? Eureka Downs.
Eureka Downs.
Downs. Also, and half of them are sired by Rich Strike. So
I'm going I'm going to opening day of Eureka Downs when it happens.
That does feel like your kind of track, honestly.
Yeah. So. I got to see it. I looked on Google Earth, or Google Maps, whatever. It's like, man, that's got a lot of work. Like it's all green. Like you can see where the track is, but it's all grown up and there's no place to park. And I don't know how they're going to get it going, but supposedly they're working on it. So,
all right. Well, let's get into a little bit of actual racing that's going to happen this weekend. We'll see if any of these horses might show up at one day at Eureka Downs. They might. We're going to look at Saturday's Los Alfie Charity. It's a key stop for the road to the Kentucky Derby. We got a bunch of Bob Baffert horses to talk about out of that one. And then we're going to get some rapid fire picks. Not a big weekend stakes action wise. It's the only Derby prep, but we are going to look at some of the stakes action that we feel worthy of talking about on the show today, including, that's right, tomorrow, Friday, the return opening day, Oaklawn Park. It's back, baby. So let's go. It always feels, and you're talking to two Oaklawn guys here, like that we cut our teeth at Oaklawn. Whenever it sneaks up on me, and still to this day for when it starts here, and not only does it sneak up on me, I'm kind of like, it doesn't feel like it starts. It's kind of like Gulfstream. You're like, well, it doesn't really start until championship meet starts, and it's like, well, Oaklawn started, but I'm not really counting it until January, basically.
Yeah, same. I think we cut our teeth there, and therefore we feel like Martin Luther King weekend is the opening weekend, not now, because Oaklawn was so traditional about their race dates. You start that weekend, and then you end on the Arkansas Derby weekend, and it's we should be used to it right by now, but we're not. That's the best way to put it. Like it's been long enough now, but I can't get used to it either.
No, it's super strange to me, but I like it. I don't hate it.
No.
I think it's good they did it, or doing it, I should say. But I think it's like I'm sure it's helping because the thing is with people don't really realize like the weather's always really bad in Hot Springs like January and especially February, and it's very whether it be rain or snow or both ice, and so there's always cancellations, and it's like December, even it might be a little cold, but it's great, right? It's clear, it's sunny, you can run today. And so it's like, why not start a little earlier and then, move it further into the meet as well, or into the year as well. So it makes sense. We always push for it. We're like, why do they, they should do that. But at the same time, I think too, it just the fact that the stakes action is pretty weak. Until, like you said, until the old days or the old start days start coming closer, like in January.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We did push for it, and then it got it, and it's like, I don't like going anymore. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Can we go back? No,
it's so stupid.
But it is fun whenever you have Oaklawn still.
Oh,
I mean, the weather is, and that's the other thing that on the end of the meet, like closing day being the Arkansas Derby was always like a fun thing. But at the same time, you're like, the weather is just now getting absolutely perfect in Arkansas. Like it can't get better in that time of the year, but like, and the meet's over, Yeah. And so it makes sense that they continue that on. But because the weather just gets nicer and nicer as we get into May. But it's so I'm not saying it wasn't needed. It just I just have a hard time kind of remembering that and getting used to it.
I do really enjoy the extension of the meet. It's just the December dates. I can't get used to them. So, but listen, I'm with you. I'm excited they're having it. So.
All right. Speaking of big time racing, we'll go to Los Alamitos, though, for this one. Race number 8 on Saturday, Los Futurity, grade 2, 200K, mile and 16th for the 2-year-olds. And of course, it is a Kentucky Derby prep race, 10-5-3-2-1 for your top 5 finishers. Over the years, this has been also known as the Bob Baffert Classic because all he does is win here. And he's got 3 horses in this running. This has always been a key race ultimate for him. For those 2-year-olds, it kind of feels like, if not his best, one of his best horses show up in here. And now we have 3 very clearly litmus test, a horse that's been running in all the stakes action. Is your 4 to 5 favorite. The question about this race and really deciding between the Bafferts or really anyone in the race is like, are you going with the horse like litmus test who clearly hasn't been able to win and not good enough to win these, like, talking about the juvenile, but gets obviously class relief, or is he just not quite as good and maybe is vulnerable here?
Yeah, I mean, this is not great. No, not a great race whatsoever. I did go with the litmus test, the number 3 horse on top here. It's kind of hard to go with the other Bafferts because Hernandez, seemingly has chose litmus test over the other 2, the 2 and the 4. He's been on all of them and was on all of them last out. And well, he was on, he's on litmus test this time. He wasn't last time, but he has been before. It just feels like that's the one to beat. It feels like it sets up really well for him. I thought he ran really well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile as well. He made a pretty good move there. So he's the one for me. I think the only other horse that I was real interested in was Acknowledge Me Please on the rail, the 1 horse. I thought that was one that may get out in front, maybe hard to catch. Not really bred to go this long, but I do think out in front could be the one they're going to have to run down. But for me, it was all about Baffert's litmus test.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you basically did all my discussion there because that's where I went with the 1. Not because I don't like litmus test. I just, it's tough when a horse consistently. I mean, from the maiden special weight, which was pretty good, has gone straight into Brandt and Ted Naffy and Brandt.
Yeah.
And so it's like, obviously he has been put up, put in the ring because this is a horse, by the way, that went out. If people don't realize, like. Not only did he got Ted Naffy twice, he got Ted Naffy because they shipped him out to the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland and then got him again in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and then got Brandt to boot, who also beat him, in his debut in the Del Mar Futurity. So this is a horse that's just been battle tested. Now, he hasn't really been close in any of them, and Mr. AP's beat him and Blackout Times beat him and, Desert Gate has beat him and Silver Liberty has beat, you know what I mean? So it's like, I get it. definitely get class relief, and I'm kind of with you in terms of the Bafferts, like, because I was like, okay, well, which Baffert am I gonna pick? If I'm not picking him, which Baffert should I try to beat him with? And I'm like, I don't know. Blacksmith is a maiden still. Providence is okay, but the numbers are very light with him, and so I'm not convinced there. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm going to try to beat him, it feels like I'm going to need to go outside the barn, and that's kind of where I rolled with the one, because I'm with you. I don't know that the distance that he's going to be able to run the distance. We'll see, but obviously Doug O'Neill and Los Alamitos is a very speed heavy track, and so if a horse can get it done, this would probably be the time to do it. But the numbers are strong. I think the pace will be very beneficial to him. Draws the rail, will be going. It's almost gonna be like, come and get me. And maybe Litmus Test just isn't quite good enough. Like, he's just simply not a good enough horse, no matter the caliber of what kind of caliber of race he's in. So maybe the one steals it. I don't know that I really like this. This horse long term. I mean, he's been good. He got beat by Desert Gate. Desert Gate's a nice horse on debut. Got beat. Desert Gate went on to win the best pal out of that race. I mean, it's been a strong horse as well, but came back after that, rattled off, went gate to wire, went just kind of blazed. I'm not saying he can't get the distance. I think it might be iffy, but I also just don't want to take Litmus Test at what seems like will be like 2 to 5 or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on. I think this horse that you're picking, I think he's got a lot of talent. I think we've seen it in both races. I am worried about the distance with this horse a little bit, but sometimes that track at Los Alamitos can carry you a little bit as well, so you might be okay. And I don't blame you for taking a shot against. Let me ask you this, and I'm on the fence with my answer, so I want to ask you. Let's say that Litmus Test runs second or third, and it's a fair second or third, like he never really kind of threatened to win. What does that say about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile?
Yeah, it's fair.
Because I mean, he was almost there, length and 3/4.
Yeah, he ran well. I mean, really. That's I think it would make it the race maybe a little bit. Well, I think it could be two things. It could be that Ted Nafi isn't as otherworldly as we thought, and also both could be true, and that the rest of the fit class is not very good either. So because I think that was a lot of people like, well, it wasn't like he was good enough in the race to win, meaning Ted Nafi, and maybe it's just one of those days where he had he didn't have his best stuff, but his class was able to get the job done. So we'll see. The thing about Litmus Test as well, it kind of is giving me pause, is like, so he wins on debut, not a big shock for Bob Baffert horses in the summer at Del Mar, and he's a favorite, which they typically are unless he's got another one in the race. And since then, granted, he's ran in 3 straight grade 1s, but I mean, this is a horse that's been 15 to 1, almost 10 to 1, and 21 to 1 in his 3 starts since. So it's not like your typical Baffert that runs in this kind of race, or a lot of the times runs in this race where it's like, okay, he's been, sub 2 to 1 every time. So, how good is he? I don't know. Like, it just kind of has felt like one of those horses that he's just like thrown in, like in all these other races to see how, and it's just, so I don't know. That's my pause with him. Like, I don't know that he's coming into this race the best way.
I think if he loses this race, I do think it's a knock on that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, because really, I think a horse that ran that well in that race should win here. A very popular comment on the Kentucky Derby update videos I do is, Ted Nafi hasn't beaten anybody. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, now we see the first one to come back from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I don't know, like if he gets a fair trip and everything and he runs third, I do think there might be a little bit of concern over, well, maybe he hasn't beaten anybody. Or if he wins, I think you then can come back and say the opposite. You could say, well, that's a pretty good horse and he's beaten him twice really easily. So I do think, look, I don't think this is a good betting race at all. I don't think there's I don't think there's a Derby winner in here, But I do think there are some storylines that make this kind of interesting.
What about Patrick wants to know about the 6? What do you think about the 6? Captivator, John Sadler, trained here. This is a horse that has been in restricted stakes races twice, or restricted races twice, back-to-back races. Finished second on debut, dominated, dusted the field at Del Mar the next time out. So obviously, performance-wise, visually looked very good. Big time ask here off of out of those races.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key. Debuted for 35,000 maiden claiming, and you know, I didn't run all that well, and then you know, ran 62.5 maiden optional and ran great. You know, big step up is on paper, I should say, it's a big step up. When you look at the horses, though, it's really not. I mean, I think he's better than the 5. I think we know that for sure. His numbers are fairly comparable to the 2 and the 4. Now, his numbers aren't really comparable to the 1 and the 3. So I think it's really a 2-horse race between those two. But can Captivator make a little noise? Yeah. And this is a jump up in class. Yes, but not as big as you would think it is, because these horses just aren't that great that are in it.
You see who the sire was?
Yeah, Charlatan. Yep.
Charlatan, like a
Very
speedy horse, very fast horse.
Yeah, you're seeing a bunch of those lately pop up. Charlatan horses.
Yep. All right. So yeah, I think it's a tricky race. I would tread lightly with this one, is in terms of, like, you know, hammering litmus test, you know, or you know, singling another horse. I don't know. I don't have a good feel for this one, or good feeling, I guess is a better way to say it. Just I don't. This is for a race that a lot of years is like, all right, this is going to be the test of, like, am I going to pick this Baffert horse, or how good is the Baffert, or whatever. This one just doesn't. I don't like, even if litmus test wins, you're kind of like, all right, he beat that field, but look who he's faced and who he's been beaten by, you know. So it's like, I don't, and how bad, like, he doesn't roll up to those guys, and so how bad is this group, you know? So it's gonna be hard to be, like, fully on board with them, even with the win.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And unless it's a really, really, really impressive win, and then, you know, you kind of maybe think about it. But yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. It's hard to believe that journalism won this race last year. It's like that, and it was impressive. And it's like, okay, that's a serious horse. And you're right. This year, it just doesn't feel like we're going to leave this race and go, okay, that's a serious horse.
Yeah, he was like, what was he? He wasn't was he the favorite?
No, I believe Gaming was the favorite.
I think so. Let me pull it up, because I'm pretty sure he was.
I believe that's accurate. Gaming was in that race. Getaway Car was in that race, I believe. And then, yeah.
Actually, yeah, Gaming was, you know, 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Finished third. Actually, Getaway Car finished second,
right.
Was 3 to 1, almost 4 to 1, and yeah, almost 3 to 1 on journalism, 2.8. Yeah. So yeah, second choice, dust of the field. That was like, okay, that horse is pretty good.
Yeah.
And Getaway Car, never seen again. Maybe, I don't remember. All right, we're going opposite ways here. I am on the 1. Acknowledge me, please. Halterman is going to 3 litmus tests to win Saturday's Los Alfie Charity. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a lot of times I like this race, because it's like, all right, we get a feel for the Baffert that you like, or, you know, that we need to to hone in on, or whatever. And this one just feels not that way.
not good. Well, you know, the Bob Hope at Del Mar never filled. They tried it 2 weeks in a row, never filled. So when this came up on the calendar this week, I was like, oh man, what are they going to get? And they got kind of what I thought they would get. Not much.
They couldn't fill the Bob Hope.
No, they tried 2 weeks in a row, and it never filled. And that to me was a really, really bad sign for this race, because the Bob Hope in some kind of way is a little bit of a prep for that race. At least it has been in the past. So, but they got 6 at least. I don't know. I bet Baffert Scratch is one of those, but
yeah, it'll be down to like a 3-horse race, I imagine, by in time we, you know, end of the day. So
I wouldn't be shocked.
But yeah, it's not anything to get, you know, and it's always a really, you know, pretty short field. I mean, I don't know that they've ever had more than 8 horses in the race. So,
Right. Yeah.
but like you said last year, at least you got something out of it, and litmus test is interesting because we know the name because he's been running in every big spot, but he's also. So I do think if he, like you said, if he flashes, then you're like, okay, like he's a scary one though, because let's say litmus test wins, and like does it somewhat impressively. You might, I mean, he's probably going to be a first round pick, maybe and you're gonna just as easily could he be the winner of another stakes race next out, as you don't see him run again. I mean,
Right.
And that's the reality of those kind of horses. So
Yeah, you're right.
Very, very, very You part of you is like, please don't run well, so I don't have to be sucked into that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Well, that's any horse really, but especially from that barn, you just never know.
Yeah. All right, guys, time for Rapid Fire presented by Racing Dudes Premium. If you haven't done so already, go to racingdudes.com. Check out our premium page. If you want more information, obviously, we have free picks available for every single day for every track running in America. But if you want more, if you want exactas, trifectas, pick threes, doubles, whatever you like to play, it's all there in our premium section. We have multiple levels of products and determined what kind of style you like to play, whether it's like pick threes, pick fours, pick fives. If you like to play exactas, whatever it is, we have those products available at racingdudes.com. Now's a great time as the year comes to an end, but we also are reloading for next season. So go to racingdudes.com to learn more. All right, we're going to go to Gulfstream Park for the very, very important Tropical Park Oaks and Tropical Park Derby. We'll kick things off, Halterman, with the Tropical Park Oaks race number 8 on the program, $125,000. Mile and 16th on the turf for the Phillies 3-year-old, and we've got a field of 12. Where are you going here?
Don't you feel like these are pretty darn good races, though, as far as betting goes? Like they're very wide open. So
this one especially, I feel like, but definitely just like it's a cluster, and I don't. I'll just spoiler alert, I didn't go the favorite in both of them. So.
Okay, I didn't go the favorite in this one. I went number 3 and one more time on top. This is a horse that I remember very well in the Natalma up at Woodbine on September 14th of 2014, when this horse was a 2-year-old. Beat a couple of horses named Vixen and Nitrogen. Not too bad that day. Upset winner of that race. Looked very good. So that's all good. The bad news is it was over a year until we saw her run again, which was last September, or this September, I should say, in an allowance optional claimer at Woodbine. Came back a winner off of a year layoff. Now we get second off the layoff. I think this is a really nice spot. I think this is a really good horse. She was really, really impressive as a 2-year-old. So I'm going to go number 3 and one more time in this spot. I'm hoping she doesn't need just one more. You know what I mean? It's a long layoff. Maybe she needs a couple races before she's ready to win at this level. But I think this is a really good spot. So at 5-1, give me the number 3 and one more time.
Manless says this is admittedly a text he sent after midnight one too many times. Halterman says that to his wife once a month.
That's right. Yes.
And she says no.
And no, which thankfully no was not entered in this race. So, or no would certainly beat and one more time.
That would be a good, like that. What was the my ex-wife, or what was that?
Oh, the wife race doesn't know, and the wife knows everything.
Yeah, that would be a good if you had a horse that said a horse named No in the race. One more time, and No battles back. One more time, No. Yeah. I'm going against the favorite here as well. I do like the horse that you picked. I almost went there as well. I'm wondering what we actually get on the 5 or from that 5-1 on the 3.
Yeah.
But I went with the horse. Tell me if I'm crazy or not. I went with the horse just to the horses inside the 2 Super Willowa. What a name that is. And listen, it was started on the synthetic, has come and really started to progress into a nice horse. Ran a nice race at Monmouth last year, or I mean, I'm sorry, last in the summer in the June. Then came back after a little break at Laurel and ran good again. So coming into this race the right way. Gulfstream Park has ran once. That was not great, but that was on the debut on the turf. 2 for 2 at the distance. I think this horse is dangerous at 12-1.
Do you want me to tell you if you're crazy or not? Is that what you wanted me to do?
Yeah.
I like the horse a little bit, but somebody else picked the horse on top as well, named Mike Somich. So you decide, are you crazy or not?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Listen,
it is a Somich type horse for sure, though.
Yeah, and I said that. I said I knew you would pick the horse before I ever even heard who you're picking, because it's a speed horse on the turf. He made good points. You made good points as well. I think, especially here at Gulfstream, you want early speed on this turf course, and this horse is going to get out there. She's gonna get out towards the front. She's probably going to get a good trip from this inside. I had the horse in third. I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I just think somebody's going to catch her.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this horse has ran mile 16th the last 2 starts after been going, mile or less, and that's when the horse kind of woke up, in my opinion, and so you got to think that the mile 16th will be perfect for her again. But I'm with you. Like the last race, the first race, she just ran away from the field. The next time out, this last one, she was driving. She kind of dueled for a little bit and then, drove away. And so it was a little closer. Obviously, this is a tougher race than the last one. So does she have that kick once again to push away from, say, the 3 or whoever it is that's pushing down on her? So we'll see. But 12-1, I'm willing to take the shot and find out at that price.
I'm willing to bet both of our horses get bet down a little bit. I don't think 12-1 is going to happen on yours either. But again, I think you're going to get 8. I think the horse will be good enough price for sure. And I would say mine will be more like 3 or 4 than 5.
Then picking against the Brad Cox horse here at the 4. 3-1, kind of the different, a tale of different ways coming into the race, whereas this one is, kind of backtracking his way in. Now, that being said, has been, it's won a grade 3 and, runs and consistently runs and, has, ran a grade 1 last time out, but has consistently ran in grade 2s and grade 3s for the most part. And so obviously a little bit of class relief here, but just has not looked good those last couple starts.
No, been beaten by much, much better than what's in here. Lush Lips would win this race very easily. Fione would win this race very easily as well. And those are the 2 horses lost to. But the problem in the flip side of it is it's not like she was in a length or 2 of them. She got beat by 7 1/4 and 5 1/4. So that did not very good. The race 3 back is good enough to probably be right there with these horses. It's just a matter of will she get back to that kind of effort in the spot.
All right, I want to see if you're going with the Brad Cox this time, because we're going to race 11 for the Tropical Park Derby, 125K, mile 16th on the turf for the 3-year-old boys this time in another big field of 12. And I mentioned the Brad Cox horse here, Chapman's Peak at 5-2, the favorite once again. Do you want to go with this Brad Cox?
I do like this one. I do like number 7, Chapman's Peak on top in this spot. I've liked this horse for a while. I backed him at Kentucky Downs that day that he won. I backed him at Keeneland. I had him in the Commonwealth. He did lose that race to Giacoso, but I thought he ran very well in that as well. So yeah, I'm going to go Chapman's Peak, the 7 in here. I just kind of feel like I don't think he's like the total class of the field, but I do think he's got a lot of class, and winning 2 out of those last 3 races and kind of showing that versatility. He could sit off and win, or he can take him gate to wire. I think that's really good as well. And the final thing is, he's had Irad Ortiz aboard. He's not here this weekend. I believe he's at Turfway, I want to say. But Chapman's Peak gets Tyler Gaffleone aboard. I think it's a really good jockey to get, now that Irad isn't on him for this one. So, I'm all over number 7, Chapman's Peak in this one.
Yeah, this one feels a lot different, right, from the last race where we kind of talked about, well, you get the class relief. Well, this is a horse that certainly gets a little bit of class relief, but also has been running well as of late, and as recent as in November at the Commonwealth, the grade 3, where he did finish second, but it was a good second. In the last 2 races, the horse won, and races that were a little longer. Mile 16th, one for or two. I just say 1 start, 1 second was that last race. But I mean, to me, this is a horse that I think will be very tough to beat. And really, I think it came down for that for me as well, that I didn't necessarily like a lot in here. And I say that like cautiously because I don't, it's not that I don't like, I hate the field. I think it's a pretty fun field, but I just couldn't really get behind a horse that I trusted to upset or that I thought would run well enough to beat the 7, because the 7 has been, if nothing else, as of recently, has been very consistent. Like I kind of feel like I know that what we're going to get out of the horse.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I also, I'm not sure what's in this. There's not really a lot of world beaters in here. I like the 6 just a little bit as a nice price. I thought that one was interesting. I thought the 3 coming off that last race, that's one that makes sense a little bit as well for me. But yeah, I mean, overall, I still just kind of sit here and look at this and go, you know what? I think the 7's just the class of this group.
Patrick says he's going to use the 10 and 11 here. Candytown is the 10 at 8-1. The 11 Tank at 8-1 as well. Any thoughts on either one of those?
The 11 is a horse I've kind of chased a little bit. Talking about Tank, a horse that, I've thought at times could get out in front and take him gate to wire. Get a little bit easier spot. Don't like the post position. He's going to have to really fly out of there to get the lead. But if he can get some kind of position early, maybe. But no, I did not use the 10 or 11.
The 10, Candytown, Todd Pletcher trained. Edgar Zayas has about once again. It's ran, I would say, decent, but these have been not great races in terms of, like at least the 11 Tank is like, I mean, the Tank was the favorite of a stakes earlier in the year, was 6-1 in the Belmont Derby. You know what I mean? Like the Hall of Fame was 14-1 at Saratoga. I mean, these are good races, right? Didn't run great, certainly not in the Hall of Fame. Ran okay in the Belmont Derby, but with the 10, it's like it's a little tougher to get there unless this race just isn't good, right? Like I don't think the 10's impossible if this race runs like a $100,000, non-listed stakes. Like if none of these horses show up, then maybe the 10 could win.
I would agree. I'm much more likely. I think it's much more likely the 11 wins than the 10 because of that dangerous speed. I did look at the 10 for a while. I don't know. I think there's just too much improvement's got to be done from the 10.
All right, let's go to Oaklawn. All right, so Saturday at Oaklawn Park, race number 8. Again, Friday, tomorrow, opening day at Oaklawn Park. So tune in for that. But the Ring the Bell Stakes, race 8, the 150K, 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds, and shouldn't need no introduction for most of these horses in the race, because not only have they been running everywhere, but for the most part, some of them have been running all over the country this past year. It's a a field of 8. You got 2-1 on Roll On Big Joe, but 5-2 on Skelly, who needs no introduction. Tiana Twist at 9-2, and Banishing at 3-1, who's very good, but he's just been a horse that's been all over the place. He just came out of the Breeders' Cup Sprint, did not go well there, but here he shows up here. What'd you think?
Yeah, this will be the first time ever I pick against Skelly at Oaklawn Park. I always just, when he enters, I pick him. I just kind of feel like Skelly might be a little bit over the hill. He just has not ran well at all. I realize, though, that he had some races last year where he wasn't running very good, and then he showed up here and was, able to put up 2 good efforts. I did go against. I'm going to go number 7, Banishing on top. I'm with you. Like, one of these races, like, the wheels are going to fall off, but I just think his best race is just a little better than this group. I like him cutting back to 6 furlongs. I really think like 7 furlongs is probably his absolute best, but I think 6 that's fine as well. I think he'll sit a nice trip. There's a lot of speed. I think he'll stalk and pounce. So give me the number 7, Banishing, and let's hope he can stay together for another race.
Yeah, I'm with you. Banishing kind of got his, his claim to fame, or at least probably his favorite track is Oaklawn Park. So it's no surprise why Jacobson's brought him back here. He's, he ran 5 times at Oaklawn Park last year and won 3 of them, finished second, 2 of them. 2 of the seconds were the Razorback and the Oaklawn Handicap, and they were the first mission and some other horse, Alexander Helios. But he's been such a nice horse because he's ran, Oaklawn, he was running at 6 furlong, mile 16th, mile and 1/8. I mean, he just does everything. It's kind of what he did all season as well after that. He likes the distance, he likes Oaklawn, like I mentioned. It's hard to go with him. It's hard to go against him. He's a tough one to kind of peg because it's like, he could run really bad, but I don't think he's going to here because I know he likes Oaklawn, and the caliber of the race isn't a grade 1, insane race at Saratoga or Del Mar. So I'm going Banishing. I do think another big aspect of this is the pace aspect of this race will really, really benefit him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's a big part of it. And I think that's going to benefit a few horses. Like, I think the number 3 Teano Twist is one that could come running a little bit as well because of this pace situation. But I think Banishing gets the jump on him. And, you just kind of look back, like, I know it's been a while now, but that 7 furlong Churchill Downs, we always talk about Mindframe and Nisos and Bookham Dano. I don't feel like we talk about Banishing. He was in that race too. He was a neck behind. He was a neck away from winning that. He ran second that day. He's really, really classy. And you mentioned the Oaklawn races, but he's been good outside of Oaklawn too. So, I mean, he won the Charlestown Classic. Unbelievable, right? So anyway, I just think if the best version of him shows up, I just think he's a little bit better than these horses right now.
Yeah, I feel like the reason we don't talk about him is because he just, he didn't really come out of that race doing much. I mean, he did win the Charlestown Classic. Yep. I guess that's something. But you and I watching that together, and we're like, of course he wins that race, right? After the year that he's kind of struggled to kind of get in form, and he does that. But so yeah, I mean, he ran awesome that day. I mean, the Churchill Downs race was such a, just an insane race of who ran in that race, who came out of that race.
Yep.
And just the way it was ran, all things. So yeah, Banishing, he's just a classy horse. He'll run well here, I have no doubt, because it is the kind of race he probably should be in. So give me Banishing. Do you think he's going to go off the favorite because of all that back class?
Boy, Skelly. I think Skelly. Everybody loves Skelly down at Oaklawn. He'll take money. I think Roll On Big Joe's going to take money as well. I think it'll be between those. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think you're getting 3-1, maybe 5-2, 2-1.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you with Skelly. By the way, like, I just think he's a little seasoned at this point. He just those that it used to be like, well, if he either rattled him off or he got caught, and but he ran fairly well almost every time. But now, as of late, it's just like he's not even. I mean, he's just flat quitting.
He came back and he had 2 just massive Oaklawn races. And then it just, like you said, the wheels just came flying off, a 6th, a 3rd, and a 6th, and just well beaten. And then you look at last year when he was coming off those big Oaklawn races, he ran second at Churchill, he ran second at Saratoga, he ran second again at Churchill, then he got killed, obviously, at the Breeders' Cup. But it's like, yeah, he was still running well, just not as well as those Oaklawn races, where this year it fell apart bad.
Well, like you mentioned, those 2 races where he just, literally was insane. Yeah. Ran a 107 and a 110 buyer, those 2 at Oaklawn.
Yep.
And then the 3 races since, he's ran a 67, a 96, but it wasn't that's mostly because of who won the race, and Ben Tornado, and then a 62. 62 from a 110 4 races before that is just, you said the wheels have fallen off completely. So,
well, and then that horse on Lake Hamilton, Durante, who's in this race as well, with an outside chance, I think he beat him by like 12 lengths that day at the Lake Hamilton, and then 2 out of the next 3 starts, Durante beat him and actually won a race, and then finished second in a race where Skelly was 6th. So that just shows you, like, the difference, right? It's like when he's here, it's like he has new life. It'd be scary to leave him off tickets. I'd put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the one thing you can say about him, and other than just looking through his form, I mean, other than once or twice, it feels like half the race he's going to be in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be zero, there's going to be no question about what he's going to do. Now, Saez rode in the last couple, although Santana is a regular rider, and Saez is on banishing, but which I would rather have have Saez, and I think that's a good call. But yeah, I don't know. I I'd be happy if he won because he's a cool horse, but this might be hey, let's see if he we'll see if he comes back, see if he likes Oaklawn, still loves Oaklawn, and then we'll make a decision after that.
Yeah, and I mean he's a 6-year-old horse, so that's another thing. Maybe he's just getting a little tired, and he's ran 24 times, and he runs hard every time. Like he flies out of the, up to the front every time. So, yeah, he might just be getting a little old, a little banged up. I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, there was a race. I'm trying to remember what race that was. I think it was the race after. Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers now. It was the race after that Lake Hamilton when he ran off the screen. He ran a 20 and a 43.
Mm-hmm.
Now he finished 6, beating 9.
Yeah.
But a 20 and a 43. He ran a second. He did 2 seconds faster, and then a second faster on the next half or next quarter.
Well, he misses the break most times. So you'll see it, and it's like, oh, shit. And then he just flies as fast as he can to get up to the front. So he's very much a one-trick pony. There's nothing he can do but just go right to the front.
No. Yeah, he has no surprises on him. So we'll see if he can get the job done. But for this one, Halter and I are both on the 7 banishing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, fun race, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's an Oaklawn type of race in December.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's a perfect way to put it. It's like, oh yeah, Oaklawn's back. Oaklawn's back. Here's Tejano, Twist, and Skelly, and banishing now. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Check us out over at racingdudes.com for those free picks and those premium selections. Go check them out at racingdudes.com. We're on just click that. There's a Get Premium or Racing Dudes Premium. It's very clear to how to find those. Also, by the way, Oaklawn's back. Free picks for that all meet long. Premium as well. So make sure you go to racingdudes.com to learn more about all what we offer. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram and Facebook. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off by visiting our podcast page on racingdudes.com, or just going to any place you like to listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're there. YouTube, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification button. You can watch these live with us and ask questions and interact, see our pretty faces, all that good stuff while we're on Blinkers Off live each and every week. Due to Bet Sports was on last week. Magic Mike Show will be on tomorrow, I think. Let's see. I was going to say, we have 3 weeks left until the draft?
Yeah, that's right. The draft will be December 29th. So yeah, a little less than 3 weeks because we'll do that early that week to do the draft. So yeah, exciting news, and the emails sent out with all the rule changes and the different points for the races. So I think people are very, very excited for this year. I think people the changes have been well received so far.
Yeah, got some new teams, got some new rules, like you said. You have a new way of like the payouts going, whole thing. So it just feels like a whole new league, Holzerman. And and I think it's in this. The other thing is usually we're drafting right around maybe this week or next week. It's always right around the springboard, and or the Los Al Futurity, kind of depends on where it falls. And this year's a little interesting because you're going to have those races under your belt to digest a little bit. Like I know there's been times where you're like, oh shit, like he's got or the gun. Yeah, I think it was. God, who was that horse? Was it?
Well, last year Admiral Dennis was like a top 5 pick, and he ran in the gun runner before the league even started and got like 3rd or 2nd, I think.
Yeah. It was the horse that won the gun runner for me.
Oh,
then never was good after that. Was it?
Let me look. I can't remember.
It wasn't Tapit Trice, was it?
No, he wasn't in the gun runner. Gosh, who would that have been?
Oh shit! It was that horse Halterman that finished second brutally in that race on the undercard on Derby. On Derby Day, remember? Oh,
nope.
Hang on.
I don't remember.
he fit gun runner.
Yeah. So Admiral Dennis was the beginning and the end of the real Dennis. He's not back this year.
That's like when a GM makes a draft pick, and it's just the guy just is terrible. It's like that was when they drafted that guy. He lived and died with that decision there.
He did, and I was just like, was it Track Phantom?
No.
Jace's Road. I don't know.
Who won it the last, give me the list of the...
Well, the last 4 were Epicenter, Jace's Road, Track Phantom, and Built. I think you're thinking of an allowance race.
No.
When Gunnett was down there, is that who you're thinking of? No?
I'm trying to remember, man. I'll have to think about it off air.
Or you could be thinking of the LeCompte, maybe. No?
I feel like it was in December. I
don't know. Hold on. Let me look at something. Could it be the horse? There's one other race I think you might be thinking of. It was an allowance, and it was in December. Hold on.
I remember Tapit Trice running because I didn't draft Tapit Trice, and I was pissed that I didn't. And he won an allowance race.
That was Gulfstream.
But that was that's a whole different thing, yeah.
Yeah. Owendale? No, he didn't. I don't know. You got me stumped.
Well, if it wasn't so much dead air here, I'd come up with it. But
by my standards,
no. I just remember you were like it was like, oh, you've got a good one. I thought, and it was either right before the draft or right after the draft at Fairgrounds, a horse that ran.
I think it was Gunnett. He won. He won a maiden on December 22nd at Fairgrounds.
It was Gunnett.
Yeah, I think it was Gunnett.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That wasn't the stakes. It was just a maiden.
Yeah, but it was that day. It was that right after, and you're like, okay, that's a good one,
He newsflash, he wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know if people realized that he was not. Yeah,
he is still running. I want to say last I saw he was with Linda Rice.
Dude, you remember when we saw him at our barn?
Oh yeah,
Saratoga one day. We're like, in Halterman and I were standing there, and we were like, we had no idea, and hadn't heard. I mean, this is not that long ago, really. It didn't feel like that long ago, and so we had no idea where Gunnett was or anything. And Halterman and I both were like, that looks like Gunnett, and it was like just from a distance, because he had a very distinct look about him. And we're like, we looked it up and kind of did the math, and we're like, that's him. That's him.
So, are you ready for this? Gunnett is still active. He last raced on November 25th at Parks. He won a $15,000 claiming race at Parks. He's ran 57 times, 9 wins, 13 seconds, 11 thirds. He has earned $868,000. He's with Jamie Ness now.
Oh, wow. Well, he'll win a bunch now.
I was going to say, look out. This could be the monster. And he ran for $15,000 here at Parks and did not get claimed. Crazy.
Didn't get claimed.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went gate to wire.
I was so excited after that race, the first one.
Yeah.
And it just went downhill from there.
Let me look at something here. It seemed like, did he even try a prep after that? Because he ran third in an allowance. I remember. Yeah, he did go to the Risen Star and he ran 12th. So he broke the maiden, third in a 5-horse allowance, 12th in the Risen Star, 5th in an allowance. He did win an allowance. That was all the way up into November of that year at Churchill. And then he went on another long losing streak of over 2 years. Wow. Actually, I saw him snap that losing streak. I was at Saratoga the day he won in 2021. So there you go. Okay, doesn't matter.
Well, and we're back.
Jeez,
Hey,
and hold on. Then he went another 2 years before he won again. Good God. Crazy.
that's right. Gunnett is going to make he's going to make I mean, listen, he's going to make his 100th start at the 2026 Breeders' Cup Classic.
Since I tell you what, since dropping to the claiming level, he's pretty good. He's hit the board. Let's see, in 1, 2, 3, 6 straight claiming races. He's won 3 of them.
Well, shit, wasn't he like $1 million horse? Like he was a big purchase.
Let's see, auction history. Just try 2.6 million.
Yeah, there you go. That's why they keep running. They got to keep trying to get at least put a dent in what they owe.
He's earned 868,000, which is a great career, and he's still not even halfway to his sale price.
He's
let
like,
alone
it's like a
all
third
the
of the way.
training fees over the last 5 years. I don't think they made any money. Of course, he got claimed, so the original owner lost him a long time ago.
Oh yeah, some of the current owner probably doing well with him, but
yeah.
The I don't know who it was. Probably like a was it Winchell?
Let's see.
I want to say it was
Three Chimney Farm. So
Oh.
I bet well, no, if they bought the buyer was Whisper Hill Farm.
Okay.
So it wasn't Winchell.
So I mean, that's still a big. I'm sure that was a big hit, but it's not like it was. Yeah, he was with Asmussen, so it was. Yeah, there was a lot to like. $2 million horse and Asmussen, and you're like, oh, this horse is gonna be really good.
Yeah,
wins the debut race after the draft, and you're like, hell yeah, like this. I gotta. We're winning the Derby, man, and then
It wasn't that maiden win. Yeah, he won by 4 1/4, and he beat by my standards. He was decent. It's funny. That was the damn horse that he never could figure out how to change leads. He can now. I have no idea, but he never could figure it out.
Yeah, he was just one of those you watch like this guy's a mental case,
Yep.
And was he a Tappet?
Yeah, he was a Tappet out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Gunnett. So all that to be said, we'll go circle all the way back. It's nice to have some of these races, done when the draft happens, because at least you have a feel. Now, again, that wouldn't have done you much good with Gunnett, because you probably would have been even more excited about drafting him.
Probably would have went top 5. Yeah,
exactly. But at least gives you a little more feel for a lot of these horses, and we're gonna need it because they got a bunch of teams. Gonna have 60 horses, or top 60 after it gets. There's 12 teams, 5 horses a team. You're going to see literally the top 60 Kentucky Derby hopefuls as of the end of December, heading into January, built by not just 12 teams, but let's say 16, 18 people, because of the multiple teams with 2 people a team. So it's a really good way to kind of get a feel, even if you don't agree with them, you don't like them, but it's hey, here's a list of 60 horses that you could start following and getting to know. And, it will start helping, especially with the amount of this year, the big change being where we can claim without spending, money or spending our points. And so now you're going to see a lot more turnover, meaning you're going to see a lot of new horses in the mix. And so it's going to be a good way to kind of follow these horses. Not just if you don't care about who wins, and I don't blame you, like as far as the fantasy goes, it's just a good way to keep an eye on all these Derby horses.
Exactly. That's why we do it. We do it for the content for people, because I do a post every week where I update you on all 60 horses that are owned, and you get a good update on what's going on with all of them. We also do multiple shows where, I'll start off a show and be like, okay, here's the shake for the fantasy league, horse racing league. We'll do that first. It's 2 minutes. And then for 20-30 minutes, we're on there talking about the Derby and what's going on in the latest news. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun way to cover the Derby, and give us a little bit of content where we're not just here, reading off a paper. Like we're having some fun with it as well. And I do think there is value to see who does John White like in this spot when he's up, and and amongst others, obviously. So yeah, it's always fun. The draft night. If you've never watched the draft night show or listened to it, I have so much fun at it. It is just a blast having all those characters come on and draft. We do it live on the air. So mark December 29th on the calendar. That'll be a fun day.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I know you are, and I definitely am, but I don't know how many others listening. I'm sure a lot of people are big fans of Howard Stern. And if you're familiar with the Whack Pack, this is this is as close to the Whack Pack as you're going to get here at Racing Dudes, because it's just a slew of characters. Everybody's jumping to be on air and say something stupid, and our leader of the Whack Pack, Magic, is gonna have probably something dumb lined up, and it's always entertaining at the very least. So
yeah,
and how Halterman and everybody does it is insane, because you have to, we can only have a certain amount of people in the studio at a time, and it's like, okay, let me bring this guy in. Now let's bring this guy in, and it's just it's fun, but it's not probably fun for Halterman. Let's put it that way.
No, it's stressful for sure. Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. Again, only a few more shows until Christmas, and then right after that we get good to the draft. So lots to find out with this weekend's racing with the Los Alpha Charity and more coming up. But I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.